Due to the success of the Fantastic Four in 1961, Stan Lee decided to remain in the comics field. Stan's publisher, Martin Goodman, was hoping for Stan to deliver the next big thing, and in March 1962, Stan Lee and Jack Kirby delivered a monster. In this edition of Tony's Comic Spotlight, the spotlight shines on the first appearance of Dr. Robert Bruce Banner and his alter ego, the Hulk, in The Incredible Hulk #1. As our story opens, Dr. Bruce Banner is readying to test fire his invention, the G-Bomb. General Thunderbolt Ross is furious that Banner is taking too long and wants to know why Banner keeps delaying the test, to which Banner tries to explain he is making sure everything is safe before he begins. Thunderbolt's daughter, Betty, is trying to calm him down with little success. Banner's assistant, Igor, is demanding that Banner share his work so someone can check his calculations, but Banner tells him he doesn't make errors. Igor threatens him, and Bruce remarks how he detests men who think with their fists. Banner takes one last look at the bomb with his binoculars and notices a teenager arriving in a car. He tells Igor to halt the countdown so that he can save the boy, but unknown to Banner, Igor is really a Soviet spy claiming to have defected. He doesn't say anything as Banner hops into the Jeep to intercept the boy, hoping that the Americans will lose its greatest nuclear physicist. Banner reaches the boy and puts him in a trench, but before he can get in himself, the bomb goes off and Banner is saturated with cosmic rays. A few hours later, Banner regains consciousness and Rick Jones, the boy, had taken the doctor back to the base. As Banner waits on some kind of symptoms to appear, the night falls and Rick turns on a Geiger counter, mistaking it for a radio. It goes off, clicking inconsistently. Banner changes into a huge gray figure. Pushing Rick aside, he crashes through the wall, wrecks a jeep full of soldiers, and wanders off, with Rick following him. Rick trails the Hulk as the Hulk tries to evade the soldiers, and he is searching for Banner's cabin. When he reaches the cabin, he finds Igor inside trying to find Banner's notes. When Igor sees the Hulk, he shoots at him, but to no effect. Hulk disarms Igor and destroys the gun. He picks up Igor and slams him into a bench. Rick Jones sees a folder taped under a beaker labeled Top Secret Report on Gamma Bomb and takes it. Hulk picks up a picture of Banner and says that he recognizes the face but he hates it because the person in the picture is weak and soft, and he tells Rick Jones to get rid of the picture. But Rick says that he is Dr. Banner. Hulk scoffs at this and says he doesn't need Rick, he doesn't need anybody. With his power, the world is his. He advances towards Rick because he knows that Rick is the only person that knows who he really is, but the sun comes up and the Hulk changes back into Banner. The MPs come in and arrest Igor because they know he's a spy, and they ask Banner about the Hulk. They take the folder and then they leave. Betty arrives to apologize for her father's remarks and tells him to get some medical attention. Banner tells her that he will call her and shows her the door. He tells Rick that he's afraid that he will change again at sunset. The guards are unaware that Igor has a transmitter overlaid in his thumbnail. In his cell, Igor is able to send a message to the Gargoyle, a deformed Soviet scientist and secret agent. The Gargoyle travels to the desert by submarine and then a short-range missile. Banner and Rick take a jeep out into the desert before sunset in case he does change again. And when he does change, Banner wrecks the jeep. He recognizes he is close to where Betty lives and decides to pay her a visit. As Betty decides to go for a walk, she meets the Hulk and faints, and then the Gargoyle appears. The Gargoyle shoots Rick and Hulk with drug-infused bullets, making them his servants. They follow him to a truck, and the Gargoyle shoots the driver as well, making him his servant. Ross finds Betty frightened by her encounter with the Hulk, but Betty had noticed something sad about the creature. Ross vows that he will track down the monster even if it takes an eternity. The Gargoyle and his prisoners travel to a jet via sub as they return to the Soviet Union. The sun rises while they're flying, and Hulk changes back to Banner, surprising the Gargoyle as they land. He begins to cry because he wishes to be normal too. Banner says that he can help him by treating him with radiation, but he will lose his intelligence. The Gargoyle accepts. The treatment is a success and the gargoyle becomes human again. He realizes how the state had been using him, and he puts Banner and Jones on a jet home and blows up the base along with him. And that is the end of The Incredible Hulk #1. So I want to share a little bit of trivia, some things that led up to the creation of the comic and some of the comic itself. Some things you may already know, some things you may not. I just found these useful. And I'm using a cheat sheet because it seems like the last couple ones I did, I always forgot to say something. Alright, so first, Stan Lee stated that the Hulk's creation was inspired by a combination of Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde and Frankenstein. The Incredible Hulk was a hybrid of two popular comic book genres, monsters and superhumans. And the series only lasted 6 issues. Beginning with Tales to Astonish #60, he shared the title with Ant-Man, and then a little while later with the Submariner, but the title actually changed to the name The Incredible Hulk with issue #102. In the first issue, the Hulk had gray skin, and that was actually what was intended. But in issue 2, they changed it to green because in the first issue, the color gray seemed to shift a lot in between the pages because the printer was having issues with the color itself. So they just went ahead and changed him to green because it was a lot easier to print. And originally when Banner changed into the Hulk, he actually kept Banner's intelligence. And this would change later on in the comics. Originally Banner changed to the Hulk at nightfall in the earlier issues, but sometime in the late 60s they changed it to where Banner would change into the Hulk when he was angered. The Hulk's power levels at sometimes depended on the level of anger that he was. And these are just a few things that I thought that, you might be interested in. Most of these things you might already know, maybe not. But I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this spotlight of the Incredible Hulk #1. If you're enjoying the content, please like and subscribe and leave a comment below. I'm going to share some links to some other YouTube channels. Please give them a sub and a like as well. And as always, I'll see you next time.